The upcoming heavyweight title fight that will take place this Saturday, September 25th, between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk will prove to be more important to the division and the future of the division than people know. This is a compelling matchup. Let's talk about it. Anthony Joshua, the unified heavyweight champion of the world, returns to the ring this Saturday, September 25th, 2021, to defend his championship titles against Alexander Usyk, former undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, in a bout that is scheduled for 12 rounds or less. And this fight may be one of the most important fights of the year. Usyk, who enters this bout 18-0, and he is looking to recreate history for himself as he looks to capture the heavyweight championship after becoming undisputed cruiserweight champion, mimicking what Evander Holyfield did many years ago. Will Usyk be able to do this? He has the skill set that can bring him to the point of competitiveness that the likes of AJ hasn't seen in at least his last 4 to 5 fights. All of those include the likes of Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin, Andy Ruiz twice, and Kubrat Pulev. The 2 fights that AJ had against Andy Ruiz saw him lose the first time when he fought for the first time in the US at Madison Square Garden back in June of 2019. The fight was rematched in December of 2019, and it saw AJ come back with a unanimous decision after being stopped in a 7th round TKO the first fight. What worried me about AJ's performance in the second fight against Andy Ruiz was the fact that he fought very tentatively and he stayed on the outside. He moved, which was very uncomfortable for him, as he is somewhat of a seek and destroy type fighter. He now has a stellar record of 24-1 with 22 KOs. But this task he has ahead of him, with the challenge coming from Usyk. In his 18 wins, Usyk has 13 KOs, but those were really at the cruiserweight division. Will that power carry up? We have yet to see. These two men were both gold medalists, and AJ took, in the same year, AJ took the super heavyweight divisions gold, and Usyk took heavyweight gold, mimicking Riddick Bowe and Ray Mercer. Although Bowe didn't take gold that year, Lennox Lewis got it, but Bowe took the silver. Ray Mercer took, in the regular heavyweight division, the gold. The best of the big men usually come through the Olympics. These two, probably more than anyone has realized, have been on a collision course since the Olympics. And now, returning to Tottenham Stadium, these two are fighting for more than just the titles. They are fighting for the recognition in the sport. Anthony Joshua enters this bout having recently signed a lifetime deal with Matchroom Boxing, which means that they will be with him to the end of his career. It is imperative that they do everything they can to continue to control the heavyweight divisions, including the titles that AJ has in his possession currently, which are the WBA, the IBF, the WBO, and the IBO titles. As so go the heavyweights, goes the rest of boxing. Usyk understands that not only can he make history by taking these belts off of Joshua, but he would catapult himself to superstardom in doing so, because AJ had long been thought to be the guy who would be the future and the current present of the division. Outside of the likes of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, whom he's yet to face either opponent, AJ has been popular in the UK, but not necessarily on the world stage. And because they won their gold in the UK when the Olympics were held there, this seems to be the way that he wants to track his career going forward. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to be a world champion, you have to be able to do it outside of your backyard. Will he be able to do that? It remains to be seen. When you talk about these two fighters, their boxing styles and contrasts are usually what makes for great fights. The two men have the type of styles that when they face opponents, they usually put the opponent in retreat. Who's going to retreat in this fight? Word has it that AJ has dropped some weight, which is the muscle mass that he was carrying, so he could be lighter, quicker, and a little bit more agile. Something that I noticed about Usyk in his fights is he has very fast hands. And if Anthony Joshua thought that Andy Ruiz had fast hands, wait until he faces this southpaw. Another glitch there for AJ. Will he be able to handle that southpaw style that Usyk brings? Don't sleep on the hand speed. Don't sleep on the fact that Usyk, who's approximately 6'3" or so, being a few inches shorter than AJ, presents the problem that AJ usually has. Shorter fighters. He doesn't deal with those guys very well. AJ is the younger of the two, being 31. Usyk is 34. With a 78-inch reach, will he be able to handle AJ's punching power? That remains to be seen. I do believe his fight is going to be mid-range and on the inside. Will AJ allow him to get on the inside? Will the referees allow him to get on the inside? With a height of 6'6" and a reach of 82 inches, AJ does have the advantages when it comes to the size and dimensions. But he's not as confident with guys who are aggressive to him. He doesn't fight well on the inside, but he may be able to use his size and strength to tie Usyk up, lean on him, do certain things like that, but he will not be comfortable fighting on the inside. Is Usyk's jab up to task? AJ has a very strong jab, but he's not prone to just working simply behind the jab. He's the type of fighter that he'll use the jab to set up some power shots, but not strategically and tactically to score, defend, control, and win the rounds behind that first and foremost. He wants to land his big right hand, and typically he throws a very good right uppercut. Will Usyk be there for that? Knowing that AJ's biggest punch is probably that right hand or uppercut, he may be looking to set traps to get AJ to throw those punches so he can counter off of them. The man who is able to counter the other's counter in this fight is going to have the advantages. I do believe that this fight is going to be very competitive. I do believe that both men are going to show their wares, meaning they're going to test and challenge one another. No one's going to back down easily in this fight, nor should they. There's a tremendous amount at stake and on the line. With Matchroom having signed AJ to this new deal, they are really pressing the envelope with a threat like this, but they couldn't get around it because the WBO title is Usyk's #1 challenge, and that is something that AJ had to defend or either give that title up. And right now, with the plans that they have, that's not what they're looking to do, because a showdown with Tyson Fury looms in the future. We will see how he's able to handle this. I think strategically, Usyk, if he can dictate the pace, he can get out front and make AJ have to fight from behind. And if AJ has to fight from behind, he may have to take risk, and that will put Usyk in a proper position to be able to take advantage of AJ's shortcomings, which sometimes he doesn't transition from offense to defense very well. He can be caught in between, and sometimes he freezes up. That's the type of thing that a fighter with the experience of Alexander Usyk could take advantage of. He doesn't seem to be a guy that's easily rattled, Usyk, and AJ doesn't seem the most confident guy. He knows what he's facing in this fight. He's trying to play it cool. He's trying to downplay the significance of this, but there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. I don't think they would have really gone through with this fight if they didn't believe that AJ could pull it out. And that's probably what's going to happen. But I would like to see Usyk win just to shake the division up. Just like when Deontay lost to Tyson Fury, it shook the division up. Sometimes when you have situations like this, it'll make losing fighters go back, rededicate, refocus, and come out with something to add to what they had before, outside of a newly acquired loss. AJ doesn't appear to me to be a long reigning champion. He's very inactive. He doesn't fight often at all, and in the meantime, other heavyweights in the division have had a chance to catch up to where he and the other three that I've mentioned are at the top. Would those individuals be tough for someone like Alexander Usyk, who would be a new reigning champion? I don't think so. I do believe his experience and I do believe his intellect could get him through a series of fights. His 2 fights at heavyweight saw him take on the likes of, we saw him in against Derek Chisora in his last fight, and Chaz Witherspoon before that when he moved up to heavyweight. The Witherspoon fight was kind of a lackluster 7th round retire by Witherspoon, who basically was just there to help him test the waters. Now, Chisora provided a little bit more of a challenge, but didn't offer much more than his caveman style of winging shots and coming in very aggressively before blowing himself out as far as his stamina. And again, that was a good thing for Usyk, because you could see how much smaller he was. He hadn't quite yet adjusted to heavyweight yet, and it gave him a chance to go 12 with a big guy who was strong, but not as technically sound as he. So that was the advantage that Usyk came away from in that fight, and he did very well with it. Now, Joshua, on the other hand, has been on the sidelines. His victory over Kubrat Pulev, to me, wasn't that impressive. I thought he should have gotten Pulev out of there within 3 to 4 rounds. Pulev went all the way to the 9th, and a couple of rounds before that looked like he was trying to get AJ to just end the fight. A champion is always tougher to beat when he's undefeated. Alexander Usyk is undefeated. And in this fight, it's going to take more than just a heavy punch from AJ. It's going to take more than just AJ being a bigger and stronger and a couple of years younger guy. This is something that Usyk would really be able to make history with. Imagine becoming a unified champion, one belt away from undisputed, and already having been undisputed at cruiserweight. This is the type of thing he's looking to accomplish, and it's right there within his grasp. You never know what a hungry dog is going to do. Will AJ be able to overcome? Will he be able to put it together, forget about the loss to Ruiz, and become the young champion that they foresaw way back when he first defeated Prince Charles Martin? Remains to be seen. A lot of fighters in today's era do not have the intangibles, the things outside of looking good, being strong, having beaten up guys that you're supposed to beat up on paper. These two men have been circling one another since the Olympics, and now it's time to go live on stage. It's going to be an exciting fight. I do believe AJ could catch Usyk with something that he doesn't see. But outside of that, I look for Usyk to be technically sound and be the better boxer in this fight. AJ may just have to go for broke. This is Stormy B Man. Those are my thoughts about this fight. Shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den boxing community, and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This fight is worth tuning into. Check it out. Until the next time we meet, everyone remain safe. Take care of your families. Peace, and we will see you soon. My prediction, Alexander Usyk in a split decision or majority decision. That's all I have for you guys. Catch you on the next one.